Okay, here we have the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives website. As you can see up here, there are columns for grades that you can pick, and on the rows you have the subject matters of math that you can choose. And we're going to go ahead and look at measurement. And on this page, what you can see are the different activities that you can do in the different grades. So here you have pre-K through second and all the activities you can do. That include like time, patterns, using blocks and such. And then you have grades 3 through 5, and you can still use blocks, but you're using like geoboards and patterns and time, but that, of course, it's going to be more advanced. And then you have the grades 6 through 8, kind of the same things, but they're still more advanced. And then 9th through 12th even. And obviously we're not dealing with time anymore. So you have all these different activities, and since I'm early childhood, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the grades pre-K through second. I'm going to go to the Ladybug Leaf activity. So what's happening right now is a program that I had done earlier, and it's for the activity that's over here. It says tracing borders, and you run the program to the outline of one of the states in the US, and it's whichever one that you live in, or say even the country that you live in if you're doing this in a different country. Down here you have arrows, so the direction that you want your ladybug to go to trace the outline. And these are created by clicking one or several, of course, of these over here. It creates the outline depending on what direction you want. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next activity. So this one's called the Ladybug Leaf, and this is where you have to find a direction to hide your ladybug. Like I said, you use one of these 6 or several of these 6 to direct your ladybug to be hidden underneath the leaf. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So obviously the leaf is down at the bottom, more to the right. So I'm going to make my ladybug go over to the right a few times. And what you can do is after you press these, you can go over here to where they've been inserted, and you just tap them to see where the ladybug goes. And so it's gone over 3 times. I could go over a 4th, but I want to show you how to use the angles down here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap here, so that makes my ladybug go back. And when I tap down here, it allows me to put in an angle down here. So what I'm going to do is I want my ladybug to turn down and to the right. So let's see what happens to my ladybug with these directions. Okay, as you can see, it's been turning, but maybe I don't want my ladybug to turn at an angle quite yet. So if I don't want a step, I just go over here and I press clear step, and then I press here again so that I can make sure I can put an angle down here. So maybe I want my ladybug to turn down 90 degrees. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this again and see where my ladybug goes. And there it goes. It turns down 90 degrees, and that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to press down here again so it starts from scratch. So now I know how far it's going to go. It's going to go about right here-ish. And now that my ladybug will be turned down, I can press this button here, this to the right direction, because it will end up making my ladybug go down. So I'm going to do about maybe 3 of those and go back here and see what my ladybug's going to do with these directions that I've given it. Okay, so it'll end up about there. So I want to throw in another direction because I want it, if I go straight down, it's not going to be hidden by the leaf. I want it to be hidden. So I want to make it go not 90 degrees, but I want it to be angled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to use this little symbol here. So just not a 90-degree angle, but we want it to go at least halfway, so 45 degrees. And then we're going to go ahead and play this again. And there we go. Okay, there we see that the my ladybug ended up turning the wrong way. So I'm going to clear that step. I'm going to press here. I'm going to choose the other 45-degree angle, which is this one. Again, this is kind of like trial and error. And if I don't want to start from the beginning, I can just start wherever and it'll send me there. So okay, we see right there that it's turned it to 45, and maybe I see that, you know, maybe I want it to go down a little further. So what I'll do is I'll click here. Well, I'll clear this step first, and then I'll click here, make it go down one more, and then do that 45. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go here, and that's closer to where I want it to be. And maybe I want it to go a little bit down further because it looks like its leg might be covered or not be covered. So I'm going to clear step. I'm going to press this here. I'm going to go one more down, do the 45-degree angle, and that's exactly where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and I'm going to make it go down to the 45 more. If I click here, I see that my ladybug has disappeared. Now that I've created my program, I want to come up here and I can press the play button, and what it'll do is it'll play all of my directions out, and the ladybug is hidden. The activity has been completed. So this is one of the things you can do. There are, of course, many other activities that you can do, like here's a maze, using the same directions, or skirting the speed limit. Create a program that takes the ladybug around the edge of the following speed limit sign. So you would end up following the sign around. Tracing a stop sign. So this is basically tracing patterns and making the programs. So this one had its own little thing up, and it just created a square. More of a rectangle, but you know, you get the point. It makes shapes. So that would be really cool when you're trying to introduce shapes and patterns and direction to your students that are in preschool, kindergarten, first grade, even second grade. Go back. And we'll even go back to numbers and operations. And here, down here, we have color chips with addition. And this is kind of cool too. And what it's going to do is kind of like what we would do in a classroom with manipulatives, but it's the online version, the virtual version. And you take this problem and you would do it just like you would with the physical manipulative. You would take and drag, click and drag the 6 positives, and then you would take the 1 negative, and then what you would do is you would press continue, and so to create this problem you'd want to take one of your negatives and place it over your positive, and then you'll come up with what you have left, which is 5, right? So then you'll check your answer, and it'll tell you good job, and then you can click to go to a new problem, which is down here. The new problem button's down here. You can either do a free play option, or you can make up your own problems, or you could do a user problem, which you just enter a problem to solve, and then you can change the operation to minus or negative, or minus or positive, sorry. Or you can just use the computer's generated problems. You can trash your problem over here in the trash bin, and that is for the chips. And so, as we go back, okay, I'm going to go back all the way to the beginning. So those are just some of the things that you can do with this National Library of Virtual Manipulatives website. Hope you enjoyed. Take time to figure it out. Play with it. It's a lot of fun for you and your class. your students.